Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Dear listener, we are here at Kardec Radio directly talking to you about the most important topic. It's about Spiritist books for kids and teens. And the big point of this show is that actually a teen is commenting about these books. She's Sarah dos Santos. She's the daughter of Kirsten de Mello and Daniel dos Santos, the very collaborators of Kardec Radio. And she's here with us talking about 4 books she selected amongst those she read, because she's really a reader. She reads lots of books, and amongst all books she read in Spiritism, she chose these 4, so we can share with you and with the children and teenagers the greatest aspects of reading these books, how they can be very transformative and powerful. Right now, we're going to kickstart the program with a beautiful message, and after this message and the break, we'll have here with us Sarah dos Santos. She's going to be here talking about beautiful Spiritist books that can change lives and empower our children and our teenagers. We'll be right back with you.
Only today. Throughout your whole life, you will never have another day like today. Remember this, and attend to all good that you can do. Be useful by helping someone. Pay heed to your duties. Happiness and peace, hope and care are what you wish to sow in your path. Joy and favor are gifts that you wish to offer. Relationships that you need to mend, courtesy at home, the most simple and the most demanding work. Review, readjustment, corrections, forgiveness, signs of care and esteem, spiritual support during the work that you embrace and bless. Not one of these things should you delay or leave for later, because time will not return. In a day like today, you only have once.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Getting to the Light. Spiritist Therapy for Discarnate Spirits is a small book that offers guidance to Spiritist practitioners and Spiritist counselors. Purchase your copy at www.ssbaltimore.org.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on any previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand section of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website at www.kardecradio.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Help prevent suicide by reading and sharing these books with others. 2 great books are available to help in this Kardec Radio campaign to prevent suicide. Suicide, All You Need to Know, by the international Spiritist speaker Richard Simonetti. You can buy your copy at www.roundtablepublishing-uk.com. Also, Memoirs of a Suicide by the medium Yvonne Pereda. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Kardec Radio, live every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Kardec Radio now offers more programs during the week and weekends. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can follow the beautiful program God at Home with Francisca Kranz and the British Spiritist community. They will brighten your days by doing a God at Home meeting wherever you are in the world, while teaching you how to do the same in your own home with your family and friends. Every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will hear incredibly inspirational Spiritist talks directly broadcasted by Spiritist Network. They will be true educational moments to carry out to immortality. Every Saturday, live interviews, Bridging Health and Spiritism with the host Dr. Vanessa Anceloni. You may ask questions to the interviewed guests by calling 858-769-4705. And every Sunday, tune in the Spiritist Awareness at Kardec Radio. You will hear a series of segments on a diversity of Spiritist topics. Kardec will broadcast the Spiritist Moment with Kirsten DeMello, the reading of the Spiritist book by John DeRosa and Steve Shepard, Spiritism in Your Life with Drs. Marco and Joyce Magalhães, Spiritism and the Gospel with Luis Sergio Marotta, Spiritist Education for Youth and Children with Bernadette Leal, Spiritist Music with James Marotta, Neuroscience and Spiritism with Dr. Vanessa Anceloni, and many more segments coming soon. Enjoy it all and nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
And now we return to our program.
So we are back, dear listener, and we are talking about Spiritist books for kids and teens. And Sarah dos Santos, who is 12, well, she's almost 12. She's 11 and some months, but she's going to turn 12 this year. She's a reader. She reads lots of books. And amongst all the books she has read, especially the Spiritist books, she selected 4. So we can share with you, with children and teens, her comments about these books and how they really can be very empowering. Thank you, Sarah, for being with us at Kardec Radio.
Well, thank you for having me today.
So, Sarah, you really read a lot of books, right?
Yes.
I mean, average, like how many books do you read like a month? Just give us an idea.
Probably about 5.
5. Oh, my Lord. So you're getting to 6th grade now. Of course, you're going to read more books. But the interesting thing we want to share with the listeners is that you were raised in a Spiritist family. Is that right?
Yes.
So you were born and raised in Philly.
Mhm.
And now you're living in Baltimore, Maryland with your parents, Kirsten and Daniel, right?
Yeah.
And all along, since you were born, you were always in Spiritist meetings. Is that right?
Yes.
And now that you are at the SSB, how many times a week do you come to the SSB Center?
3 times a week.
Wow. So do you participate in the adult meetings as well?
On Mondays, they have the studies, but in their special part where they go in the little room and they do the mediumistic meeting, I just stay out there and read a book.
That's nice. And on Thursday when they have the study sessions?
I participate and I read the book as well.
That's nice. So you've been reading some books and they are studying action and reaction, is that right?
Yes.
And on Saturdays when you have lectures but you don't have spike lessons, you also listen to the lectures, is that correct?
Yes, I try to pay attention and see if I get it.
That's interesting. So when you started reading, one of the books you shared with us that you found very interesting was A Primer on Being Good. This book was written by the spirit May May, who is really committed to kids and teens. And through Chico Xavier, she brought this cute little book, A Primer on Being Good, that it can be found at edusayofamerica.com. In this book, May May explains in a simple language appropriate for children that there are 2 paths in life, the path of good and the path of evil, and God has granted us the freedom to choose either one. So she talks about how we can use our hands to do good, to promote happiness, to make friends, help people, and make a better world. So in this book, Sarah, how do you see this book helping others understand the 2 paths in life?
Well, the two paths are lightness, so not lightness, like being good and being bad. And so I guess it kind of teaches kids to look at the good things in life, because if you look at the bad things, it might lead you to like a bad job, and you might be homeless.
It's interesting because as you're saying this, it reminds us of a passage on pages 22 and 23 when the Spirit May, and I'm going to quote from it so we can discuss a little bit better. She says, page 22, hands that rack and shatter, deceive and destroy. And then on page 23, she talks about Jesus came into the world so that our hands could learn to serve the light of goodness and build our own happiness. So when you read this passage, what came to your mind that she, in this passage, can be helping other children understand how to do good use with their own hands?
Well, in the picture it shows a lot of 5 different jobs, because each job represents one finger. So I guess she's trying to show that like you have to choose the right job, and then you'll go to like a good place because you didn't choose the bad path, but you chose the good path.
Of all the things in this book, you mentioned to us that your preferred passage is on pages 26 and 27. Can you just read her statement in those pages, please?
My children, don't let the claws of the darkness control your hands in life.
So why is this your preferred passage?
Well, the kids in this picture, there's 2 paths, the path of light and the path of darkness. And it shows that the kids are going to school in the path of light. But then it shows just nothing but emptiness in the path of darkness. So it shows like if you go in that path, bad things might happen. If you go in the path of light, you might get a good education and maybe get like a scholarship to college.
And make good friends, right? Build good relationships. You're so right, Sarah, that this book is so inspirational that at the end there is this stanza by the renowned Casimiro Cunha, who said through Chico Xavier the following, reminding parents about the importance of giving the best spiritual education to children. Do not forget that your children on their journey through life will give back to you what you gave them now. Dear listener, I know you're excited about this book, but you can buy it at edisafamerica.com and share this knowledge with your children, because for them it's really impactant. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about another fascinating book named A Heart Alone in the Land of Darkness.
We will return to our program after these messages.
New release, Liberation. In this compelling narrative, Andre Luiz emphasizes the work of high-order spirits in the effort to convert the spirit Gregorio to the good, an effort that culminates with the unforgettable re-encounter with his mother, herself a highly evolved spirit, wherein he surrenders to the irresistible call of love. The book also contains information on how unhappy spirits act as they try to involve incarnates in their wiles. The spirit author tells of the intercession of high-order spirits on behalf of human beings, demonstrating the divine compassion that grants to all the blessed opportunity to free themselves by means of study, labor, and persevering service in the practice of the good. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Want Spiritist books for your children? At Edison of America, you will find a collection of them. From the best-selling book, Our Father, in which the Spirit May through Chico Xavier brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Adelson Sales on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.edisafamerica.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand sections of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website, www.kardecradio.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Spiritism for Everyone, the online study of Spiritism. This year with the in-depth study of the book Genesis by Allan Kardec. Join us every Wednesday evening through the web from any computer or mobile device, no matter where you are in the U.S. or the world. Spiritism for Everyone is free, open to all, and requires no registration. For more information, go to www.spiritist.us. Spiritism for Everyone is a program of the United States Spiritist Council.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here talking about Spiritist books for kids and teens, and to make us better understand about their impact in our own lives and how they can be really powerful in a child or a teenager's mind. We have here with us Sarah dos Santos. She's almost 12. She's in 6th grade. She's the daughter of Kirsten de Mello and Daniel dos Santos from Baltimore, and she's here with us in Chantilly, Virginia, to talk about her impressions on these books. She selected 4 books amongst all the ones she has read this far, and as a Spiritist, she found that these books amongst all can be quite powerful. In this one we're going to discuss now, Our Heart Alone in the Land of Darkness, which was written by Betty Rosen, who is a Spiritist living in New Jersey and an author of several amazing books. If you want to find her books, we would recommend that you go to the website www.semfronteiraspress.com. So semfronteiraspress.com. And in this book, she talks about how people in the land of darkness don't use their heart. They forgot about their hearts. They only think about material life, and they forgot about their feelings. So, Sarah, when you talk about this book, what came to you first? What is the main message for you in this book?
Well, the main message for me is about, the heart alone in the land of darkness, of course. And the heart's trying to go around and trying to, go inside of someone and light up their spirit. And so he tries several people, one of them is a poet, and he wants to write a beautiful poem for this girl that he really likes. And so the heart tries, but he fails, so he turns, a really bad color. So next he tries a dictator. So the dictator is too, mean and focused on, dictating the world and starting wars. And he tries a TV reporter, but interview him on how he's trying to get in someone's chest. And at the end, he sees a girl, and so he's like, "Can I enter your chest?" And she's like, "Okay." So once he enters her chest, the child is very happy, and so the world just seems to light up again, and everyone is happy.
That's amazing. And there is a special passage that we're talking about that we thought can be helpful to children understand about the importance of using their feelings and not blocking them out. It's when it says, "Frustrated, the little heart left the dictator's chest. Once again, the heart noticed that his red color had already begun to pale. He resembled the color of a pumpkin. Meanwhile, the dictator was shouting, 'I am the leader, commander, agitator. I have all the power. I am a friend. I want to love. But, nobody can breathe. Oh, I love to frighten people and tell them what to do.' He was obviously confused. Alone again, the heart felt lost and sad." In this passage, Sarah, how do you think children can relate to it and do something better with their lives?
Well, children can benefit from this because if the heart's trying to teach kids to be better, kids might think, oh, I don't want to end up like the dictator, just mean and grumpy. I want to end up like the kid at the end that's so happy and just full of life.
You're talking about your preferred passage now, right? You mentioned to us that your preferred passage is the one in which you have many children who are happy, they are joyful. And can you read it for us, what it says in those pages, please?
The child and her new heart traveled around the land of darkness. One by one they gathered up as many children as they could. Soon the land of darkness became brighter. The trees turned green and the sky blue.
So how do you think this passage, which is your preferred passage, can be a good reference for kids who read this book?
Well, the land is light, and so the kids could see they turned out happy. The heart did it. So what the heart's trying to do is he's trying to teach everyone to be happy and not be grumpy.
So this book, dear listener, has lots of great messages. Sarah kindly summarized some of them for us, and we would read the author's own words at the end of the book, which are very inspirational. Let your own heart speak. Give it a chance to play, create, and lighten up the world around you. So this is another book that can be quite amazing to give to children and work on the contents with your kids, dear listener. Right now we're going to give another break. When we come back, we have a book that probably you haven't heard that much. It's named Violet on the Window, and it came from Brazil, and now it's in English, and it's an interesting book that you can also share with your teenagers, and it can make a difference when we are back from our break.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Books of Andre Luiz. Through the hands of the most prolific medium of all times, Chico Xavier, the spirit doctor Andre Luiz wrote a series of books that unveil the mechanisms of life and life after life. From the best-selling novel No Solar, Our Home, to And Life Goes On, the reader will find illumination for a fulfilled life on Earth as well as immortal happiness. Check the many titles available at the international distributor, EDI CEI of America. Their website is www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Spiritist Network, your gateway to on-demand Spiritist videos. www.spiritistnetwork.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio. Traveling to another country? Immigrating elsewhere? Prepare yourself by reading the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, in which several loving and wise spirits wrote through the hands of Chico Xavier and Waldo Vieira, telling all of us the tips and hints of a successful transition to a new land. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Do you want Spiritist books for your children? At Edicei of America, you'll find a collection of them, from the best-selling book Our Father, in which the Spirit Mei, through Chico Xavier, brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Adailson Salles on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
And now we return to our program.
Oh, dear listener, we are talking about Spiritist books for kids and teens, and this is really amazing because we have here with us Sarah dos Santos, who has been reading lots of books. She reads average like 5 books a month because she loves reading. And she has been a spiritist all her life. She's almost 12 now. She's on 6th grade. She's the daughter of Daniel dos Santos and Kirsten de Mello, who are great collaborators at Kardec Radio. And she chose 4 books amongst the ones she has read to share with you, kids and teenagers, about the powerful message that these books can bring. We discussed in the first part of the program books that were mostly for little kids: A Primer on Being Good by the Spirit May May through Chico Xavier, A Heart Alone in the Land of Darkness by Betty Rosen, and now we're going to talk about books that are mostly for teenagers. The one we're going to discuss now is Violets on the Window by the Spirit Patricia. She was psychographed by the medium Vera Lúcia Marinzec de Carvalho. She's from Brazil, and now the book is totally in English. It has sold more than 1 million copies in Brazil alone, and you can get a hold of this book by going to petit.com.br, petit.com.br. And this book talks about a teenager. She was 19, Patricia. She discarnated, and soon after she wakes up in the spiritual realm, observes what's happening there, describes her experiences, and then comes back through the hands of her own aunt, Vera Lúcia, the medium, to describe what she found out in the afterlife. Sarah, what did you like about this book mostly?
Well, I liked that it teaches you not to be scared when you go to the spirit world, because Patricia, when she went to the spirit world, she was still adjusting the few things, but eventually she got it, the whole thing, and she wasn't that scared because she knew some people there, and she grew up in a spiritist family, and so she knew she was going to be safe.
So you think this book can be very helpful for teenagers also to live and lead a better life while they are incarnated?
Yes, because Patricia, it says that she had good habits. So if people who are spiritists, they know that if they don't smoke and drink and go out and do bad things, they know that they will maybe go to lower zones. But the teenagers who don't have bad habits like Patricia, they'll go to the spirit world. So they might think oh, I want to end up like Patricia in a good place, taken good care of.
As you're saying this, it reminds us of this passage on page 105 when she tells us about higher education colonies. And it says, higher educational colonies, they have their own names. They're comparable to colleges and universities for incarnate people, encompassing higher knowledge in various sciences. These colonies are just school campuses, or rather they are only places for study and research, besides having dwellings for the professors and the students. So here they are talking about the fact that we have schools, universities, and our learning experience goes on in the spiritual realm. What did you feel when you found out that you can keep learning and growing, making new friends in the afterlife?
Well, I think it was kind of cute because it says it's kind of like a little mini city. You have your schools and you have your colleges, and then you can make new friends. So technically you're not really far away from home, but it's just the same kind of environment.
That's interesting. And you're talking about being familiar with everything there. So do you think by learning the Spiritist teachings here, it's going to help us when we go back to the spiritual realm?
Well, yes, because maybe you have a little more knowledge, so you know what to do, or if you ever get scared, you always know you can pray, and you always have the comforts at home, you can hear your family praying to you, so you're not that far away.
That's nice. And I remember when you told me about your preferred passage. If you want to read it for us, please, your preferred passage of the book.
Patricia, my beloved daughter, sleep in peace. Friends watch over you. May peace be with you. Although these words were expressed with tenderness. There were unmistakable commands which made me feel protected and safe.
Why was this a preferred passage for you?
Well, the father is praying to Patricia, and he's saying, like, don't worry and just stay calm, because he's trying to comfort her not to be scared, just in case she was scared.
So it tells us that the prayer is a good resource when our loved ones depart to the spiritual realm, right?
Yes.
That's beautiful. So, dear listener, we would really recommend this book because it can be a great reference for teenagers of spirituality, grounding them to lead a good life here, a life of work and service and study, because life really goes on. This incarnation is just temporary, and we really need to focus on immortality, learning for immortality, serving for immortality. We're going to go to our last break, and when we come back, we go to the top selection by Sarah dos Santos, and you'll learn more about what it is when we come back after the break.
We will return to our program after these messages. Want to learn more about the ins and outs of mediumship? The book In the Realms of Mediumship by the spirit doctor Andre Luiz through the medium Chico Xavier analyzes the various aspects of mediumistic communication and mediumship. He also praises the efforts of mediums who are faithful to the spiritual mandate they received before they reincarnated, warning them about the risks of badly practiced exchanges between the two worlds. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
The Spiritist magazine is a trimestral, digital periodical that publishes the latest news on the Spiritist thought and the movement in the USA and worldwide at www.spiritistmagazine.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Study Spiritism online at eSpiritism. eSpiritism is an online tool to promote the study and practice of Spiritism while contributing to the preparation of Spiritist practitioners. For full access to courses, go to www.e-spiritism.org.
If you missed out on any previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand section of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website at www.kardecradio.com.
Emmanuel's Novels. The reputable mentor, Emmanuel, wrote a 5-book series of Spiritist novels that can truly transform your life. Starting with 2,000 Years Ago, Emmanuel delights our minds with the true account of characters that are so similar to each of us. Discover yourself in Emmanuel's novels and live better. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com. And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are in the last part of our program today when we're dedicating the whole program at Kardec Radio to talk about Spiritist books for kids and teens. We know how important it is to educate our children to good literature so they can build not only knowledge but good standards, principles, really inserting new food for thought in their minds, so they can lead a good life of service to God and also of help to other people. And we have here with us Sarah dos Santos, who is the daughter of Kirsten de Mello and Daniel dos Santos from Baltimore, Maryland. She's one of the members of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, and she's a great reader. She reads more than 5 books a month. She loves reading, and she selected for us Kardec Radio 4 of the books she liked the most of all the Spiritist books she read. She likes all of them, but she selected 4 because we didn't have time to talk about every single one of them, and we left for last the one she enjoyed the most, which probably you'll be surprised because it's quite intense. This book is named Obsession, and it was psychographed by the wonderful medium Divaldo Franco, and the spirit author of the book is Manuel Filomeno de Miranda. This book talks about the story of a 15-year-old girl who was apparently living a very stable life. But one day at her birthday party, she felt unsettled, slapped her father in the face, got into this psychotic crisis, and was admitted to a mental hospital. Soon after, the journey of the whole family begins. And what is quite interesting about this is that we learn the behind the scenes of the good spirits intervention. It's about good spirits helping us, spirit doctors such as Dr. Bezerra de Menezes and others, as well as Spiritism and its role in spirit rescue work, which we call disobsession. There's so much to learn, but we want to ask Sarah about it. What did you feel about this book, and why do you think this is your preferred book this far?
Well, I think it's my preferred book because it's really interesting on how they explain why the girl slapped her father in the face, and it's pretty intense and very dramatic.
How do you think this book can be helpful to other teenagers nowadays?
Well, teenagers who don't know about Spiritism might be a little scared because they think oh my goodness, I don't want that to happen to me. But it explains why that happened, because some people who don't pray usually have an open door so the spirit can come in.
So you're talking about paying attention to spirit influences in our lives. Sarah, talking about that, we want to ask you, how do you think teenagers can prepare themselves to understand when they are being possessed or when they are being influenced by negative spirits or inferior spirits? What do you think?
Well, when they feel probably down and really mad, and the spirits are influences, so when you think that you're being obsessed, so you should probably pray because it's the best thing to do.
Now, this book talks about the story of a family, and you said that your preferred passage is when this girl, she's only 15, she's at her birthday party, and she slaps her father in the face, etc. And it's quite surprising because they got a good relationship and everything changes all of a sudden. Why is this your preferred passage? What is the message behind it?
Well, it's my preferred passage because it's surprising because the father and the daughter have a good relationship, and so it's kind of surprising that she reacts this way to him.
And it tells us that there is a reason why. When people read it at first, they're whoa, what's happening here? But then when you keep reading, it talks about why this spirit is obsessing the girl and the father. So what is the main reason why this is happening? Is it to do in any way in form with reincarnation, previous lives?
Well, yes. So sometimes there's action and reaction, and so it's usually based on what you did in the previous life. And so that's how that happens, what the girl did. By the way, her name is Esther.
Exactly. And I just got here, Sarah, as you're speaking, on page 111, just to tease the listener, when Dr. Bezerra, who is taking care of their case in the spiritual realm, he says that in a previous incarnation, Esther and her present father were associated in serious crimes. Now, though in a different context, she suffers the consequences of her past actions. So here he talks about, considering the helpful resources at hand together with the good hearts that are mobilizing their own spiritual achievements to intercede for her, Esther's karmic maps will be altered, making it possible for her to attain reparation by other means than constricting suffering. Listener, this is really just a teasing for you. As Sarah said, there's a reason why they're suffering this life, and this book is an invitation for us to understand more about life itself, how previous lives play a role in our life, and when suffering happens, there is a reason. So, Sarah, why would you recommend this book to a teenager today?
Well, it teaches them, like, there is spirits that can obsess you. And if you pray, then the good spirits can help you when, like, you're feeling down or mad at your parents for, like, no apparent reason.
And for those who want to get some tips and hints about what to do to prevent or to treat obsession, the pages 9 to 21 of the book is dedicated to explaining what obsession is and how the spirit team works together with a spiritist team in the incarnate plane to relieve us from these obsessions. Dear listener, this book is quite current for the times we are living on the earth, and we would say it's quite good recommendation that Sarah is giving to us. Right now, Sarah, as we're talking about so many other Spiritist books for kids and teens, would you like to leave a final message for the listener, please? And don't forget, you can get this book Obsession at the bookstore of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, www.ssbaltimore.org.
Parents who are listening, please share these books with your kids and teens so they might like this book and it may be helpful for them. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for being with us, and thank you for being a great collaborator at Kardec Radio today. And always, thank you. So, dear listener, we hope you have enjoyed this program in which Sarah dos Santos kindly shared with us the great insights about books for kids and teens. Right now, we'll finish the program with our customary prayer, which is a great resource for us, as Sarah said, to shield ourselves from negativity and to connect to higher spirits. So let us close our eyes and pray for all teens and kids around the world. Dear Jesus, you're the one who welcomed all the kids. We would like to collaborate with all parents and educators around the world by emitting with our thoughts and being multiplied by the loving, kind, generous heart of our Creator. These vibrations of protection, of wisdom, and of love to all the children and all the teenagers around the world. May Spiritist books be spread out and reach out to their minds, to their hearts, making them be the best they can be spiritually and materially speaking. And we would like to ask you to envelop their parents and educators in loving energies so they can also achieve higher levels of wisdom and of educational skills. And so be it. Dear listener, in a week from today, Kardec Radio is going to be interviewing the parents of Sarah dos Santos. Daniel dos Santos and Kirsten de Mello are going to be here to talk to us about Spiritist resources. You want to know more where they are, how to find them, and they are going to be here sharing with us the ins and outs of Spiritist resources. in a week from today. In the meantime, you have tomorrow the Spiritist Awareness Program, and then the God at Home, followed by the Spiritist Talks. If you want to know more information, just go to KardecRadio.com. In the meantime, enjoy your life and always feel the blessings of God.
Thank you for listening to Kardec Radio, broadcasting live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email us and share your comments at www.kardecradio.com. Until next time, we wish you many blessings.